It's love at first fright. Earth girls are easy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the newest release from Vestron Video, Earth Girls Are Easy. But before we do that, if you guys are into movie reviews, Blu-ray reviews, 4K reviews, some tech and some game stuff along the way, then please consider subscribing because we do all that here. So Earth Girls Are Easy was released in 1988, directed by Julian Temple, coming in at a clean 100-minute runtime. And you know what? This movie, I've never seen this before, and I seen it on a list of, I forget what brought my attention to this movie. I saw Jim Carrey was it. It's got like a really A-list cast in my opinion. You know, it's got Damon Wayans, it's got Jim Carrey, it's got Jeff Goldblum, and it's got Geena Davis. And you know, she was in Beetlejuice, one of the homeowners in Beetlejuice that dies in the beginning. You know where I saw this? I saw this on In Search of Tomorrow, that sci-fi documentary. Because it is very much a sci-fi movie. It's about aliens basically on the prowl. You know, they're looking for girls. They catch a transmission as they're flying over Earth, and they call them bald because these aliens are just hairy. They kind of look like maybe colorful Wookiees, you know, that's what they were called in the movie, kind of like Chewbacca or just some hairy animal, you know, Bigfoot maybe. So they call our Earth girls, they're bald because they don't have hair all over their bodies. So they ended up crash landing onto planet Earth on accident because they were fighting over the controls. And you know, it's kind of a really wacky, weird movie, and I kind of was getting like chick flick vibes, so I'm not 100% certain if this is aimed at the female audience, because you know, there's some musical numbers. Jeff Goldblum is looking handsome as ever. Well, you know, I feel like that's in Jeff Goldblum's contract in every movie he does. You know, Jurassic Park, he's laying there with his shirt open. This one, he's the attractive alien that gets the girl. In The Fly, he's an you know, I feel like all the movies that Jeff Goldblum does, he gets it written into his contract that he has to look as good as possible and always get the girl and just be this rock star. But that is Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff Goldblum for that. You know, that's the best. But anyway, this was definitely a strange movie. So they crash land onto planet Earth, and Geena Davis's character basically, she wasn't held hostage, but she made friends with them, and then she takes them out for a night on the town in LA, you know. She takes her friend that works at the beauty salon she works at, and they give them a makeover, and then they lose the hair, so you get Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum in their natural form. They're learning how to speak English, they're learning the culture, they're learning just stuff, you know. It's the late 80s, they're out in the town, you know, LA is bumping, they're cruising down the boulevard, and it's just a big party. And then Geena Davis's fiance at the time gets caught cheating, so she's like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go hang out with these aliens for the weekend. And you know, it's just a very bizarre, strange movie, but it wasn't bad. It was definitely interesting, to say the least. You know, I think I was expecting something a little bit different. I was thinking more of a comedy, which there is definitely some comedic elements. It's not funny, you know, but again, it didn't hit like I thought it would hit. I enjoyed it. I'm not in a rush to go watch this again. You know, it was okay. I'm glad to have it, and I'm really glad Vestron did this release. So yeah, even reading on the front, Valerie's about to discover how far a girl has to go to find Mr. Right. So yeah, I really think this kind of lands in like the Hallmark chick flick type area, but it's still got that sci-fi vibe, and it's got a really cool cast. It was just a little out of my wheelhouse, I think. But again, it's definitely worth a watch. It's an interesting sci-fi movie, you know. There is some comedic elements. It's got a decent story, but at the end of the day, it really is just a love story. And you know, that's not exactly a Matt movie for me, but you know, it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed my time with it, and I'm glad I was able to check it off my list of movies that I have not seen before. And I also want to mention Geena Davis. For some reason, I always get her, like, I always think that's the girl from the Ninja Turtles movie, the live action one. the second, not the first one, because that's clearly they had a different actor for the first live action one, but Secret of the Ooze and Turtles in Time, they look very similar, but it's not the same actress. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I always kept that confused. But Gina Davis was, and she actually looks smoking hot in this movie. You know, she's in a bikini, a bathing suit. She works at a beauty parlor, so she's doing nails and hair, and you know, and it's the 80s. They got these fluorescent, you know, really high visible color clothes, and you know, it was a good time. And again, I never found her like extremely attractive until I was like, oh, she actually looks really good in this movie. But anyway, overall the film was okay at best. You know, it's just an interesting sci-fi love story that, you know, maybe can be forgotten. And that's probably why it took so long to get to Blu-ray. So let's talk about Vestron's release of Earth Girls Are Easy. So this is spine number 27 in the Vestron Collector series, and I've been trying to make it a point to collect at least the ones that looked somewhat interesting to me, because I really like Vestron's work. I think they do really nice, and I just really enjoy their slipcover, you know, just the basic thing there, and put the number on the side. Like, they knew what they were doing. For a collector, they see that number, I gotta have them all. I don't have them all, but I have a handful of the Vestron stuff, and I think Vestron does great work, and they do a lot of these, like, you know, mid-tier sci-fi horror movies. So far, my favorite Vestron release is probably Chopping Mall. That was the first time I saw that, was my Vestron Blu-ray, and I love that movie. That movie is awesome. So this is the first time this movie has made it to Blu-ray. Before this, there was a DVD and I believe VHS previous to that. So this is the first time this movie is on high def. So once you peel off this slipcover Vestron put on here, you got the same artwork on the inside, so nothing special there. The one thing I did find interesting about this is Vestron is basically a boutique label, right? This came with a digital code. See, it's Blu-ray and digital, which I found was very interesting, but it's Vestron and Lionsgate. So I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. I guess Lionsgate put out the previous DVDs, and I guess they helped with this transfer. I'm not sure, but it's still a collector series. It's still got the number on the spine from Vestron. I just thought it was a little interesting that there was a digital code in there. So once you pop this open, you have a very, very basic Blu-ray case. It's got the recycle ones in there, so it's the very lightweight ones, and you have just the Blu-ray disc. But they did go ahead and put some artwork on the Blu-ray disc, so that is definitely appreciated here. So let's talk about the scan and the picture. So again, this is a Blu-ray, this is not a 4K, so we are maxing out at 1080p resolution, and you know, it still looked good. You know, I'm sure this is worlds better than any VHS DVD copy out there, and better than any stream you're gonna get. So this is the new definitive way visually to see this. And as far as audio goes, it only had a 2.0 mono track, and that was it. There was no 5.1, none of that. So I thought that was interesting. You know, generally when they do releases like this, they'll at least add a 5.1, even if the 2.0 is the intended way to see it. I just thought it was strange that there was only the 2.0, but it sounded okay. You know, kind of a missed opportunity on adding a new audio track here, but you know, it's not a huge action movie. It's more of a love story with some sci-fi elements and some comedic elements here. So again, it's not an action-packed movie where you really need that surround sound. Visually, I thought it looked really good. You know, it looked good. There was no scenes where I would say that this looks bad. Actually, right in the opening, so I guess the way these aliens sleep, they're in like this sphere and they hover. And so it's got like these rings around it, and Jeff Goldblum, he's the blue alien, and he's in there floating and sleeping, and you can see a couple black lines going across Jeff Goldblum, and that's what held him up, that's what was suspending him. So the Blu-ray really cleared it up where you can actually see the wire work in the movie, which are not intended to be seen. I thought that was pretty funny. You know, so that speaks to the scan as in how clear it is. So it is definitely pretty clear that you can see the wire work. holding up the actor. But overall, you know, it's filmed in 1988. It was shot on film. It transferred pretty well to the Blu-ray. There was no scenes of note where I would say that it looked bad. But also, it's just nothing to write home about. It's just a good 1080p Blu-ray. Vestron puts out some really nice Blu-ray discs. But my one big complaint about this would be the audio track. Not that it was bad, not that it sounded bad. I just would have preferred at least a 5.1 on there. But overall, visual quality, audio quality, packaging. Also, there was a good amount of special features on here on the Blu-ray disc. There's a ton of interviews, some audio commentaries, theatrical trailers, TV spots, a music video. You know, there's a good amount of extras on here. I didn't really dive deep into too many of the extras because after I was watching the movie, I was about done with it. So overall, the movie itself, I would give, let's say, I'm probably going to give it maybe 2.5, 3 stars on Letterboxd out of 5 for Vestron's release here. And also, you got to remember, on Amazon right now, if you guys want to pick this up from Amazon, we'll put our link, we'll put our affiliate link down in the description. This is $10.79 on Amazon right now on day of release. I think it was listed at $17.99 originally when we pre-ordered it, and it went down to $10.70 day of release. So for $10.70 and first time on Blu-ray, I think this is definitely worth it, especially for a Vestron release. You get a nice slipcover. You get a pretty good movie out of it. It's definitely the best way to watch this movie now. This is the new definitive way to watch Earth Girls Are Easy. And, you know, I think for that price, $10 for a brand new boutique label Blu-ray, you can't really go wrong with that. So overall, I'm going to give this release from Vestron a 7 out of 10. You know, I think there was a missed opportunity with the audio. I think the movie is good, not great, and I think the picture is good. I have no complaints about it. Nothing wrong with it. It's definitely going to be worlds better than that DVD or that VHS. And 9 out of 10 times, a Blu-ray disc is going to look better than any stream. I think this might be on Amazon to stream. This is definitely the definitive way to check it out. And for the price at $10.79, you can't really go wrong. But that's about all I have to say about this today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button because that helps us out, or consider subscribing because that also helps us out. But if you guys want to pick this up, add it to your collection, we have an affiliates link with Amazon where you can pick this up. It helps out the channel at no extra cost to you, and you can add this to your collection. But until next time, guys, have a great day.